Legends, what's going on? Welcome back to the Fitness and Business Podcast. John Salmon's my name, and today's episode is going to be about sharing some wins and lessons from Michael. Michael's recently started with Fitness and Business, and there's a few really key lessons that came up during our Zoom call that we had yesterday, which is part of the accountability system. You guys all know that I'm about systems and structure. Part of that coaching program is each month we have a Zoom call. I call it a scorecard call, where we literally go through and go, this is what we said we were going to achieve. These are the metrics, the targets, the training plan, the nutrition, and all of those things. What was achieved, what was learned along the way, and what are we gearing up for the next 28 days. So just like a business, we implement systems and structure to make sure that progress actually occurs. Now, during that Zoom call, some really awesome things came up, which helped steer the ship, so to speak, and get him continually tracking in the right way. But one of the things that the lesson, I guess, was that you can't speed up time and you can't speed up the learning process. There's a thing called habit stacking, which was shown to me a while ago that I've implemented into my life, my business. It's really valuable. It's really effective. When it's done right, habit stacking can be a really valuable tool. If you try and skip the process of learning, of time, it just becomes overwhelming and there's too much to do and you end up falling off the wagon. So today I'm going to break down a few simple things that Michael, wanted to achieve. I'm going to explain the lesson that was learned during the process of almost trying to run before you can walk, so to speak, and then what we're doing as a result of it. And I hope that sharing that lesson helps you on your next step. So I'm going to share iPad screen. If you're on Apple or Spotify, you're just listening to audio, I'd suggest jumping across to YouTube so you can see what I'm about to share on the iPad screen. So here we go. These 5 things are the 5 elements of the Fitness and Business blueprint. Now, I'm not going to go through them in extreme detail because they're in some videos below, but just to cover off so the next bit makes sense, we've got an action plan. That's your vision, your mission, your goals. We've got a board, which is like a board of directors. So your people, your environments, and your tools that you have around you to make sure that you're geared up and ready to execute the action plan. That's a terrible, terrible error. The third one is your consumables. Your consumables are pretty much everything you eat. So your food, your drinks, and your supplements. If you can have a consumables plan that's simple to prepare, shop for, and make sure you're eating it on a consistent basis, it's amazing to see what happens in people's lives when they have simple systems and structure around nutrition. The fourth one is your drive. So your battery, your internal battery, your vitality, the things that light you up, the things that drain you, and understanding what they are and how they impact you so that you can be, so that you can have the best energy that you can every day. And number 5 is your exercise. So making sure you have a plan that suits you, that fits in the schedule, that's not too much for what it is that you want to achieve. Most of the people that I coach and help aren't in high-level sporting teams. They're not Olympians. They're not trying to compete at a high level in any sort of weightlifting or bodybuilding or anything like that. In fact, if people come to me with those specific goals, quite often I will direct them to a coach that specifically works with people like that. What I specialize in is helping men in business get fit, healthy, and strong, and have an appearance and a presence that they're proud of. And the way we do that is through a very clear set of systems and structures like the blueprint that I just showed you. Now, I'm going to scroll down. I've got some clear lessons from the first few weeks of Michael's journey of working with me. And the clear lesson is the habit stacking example, which was taught to me a while ago. But let's just go through some basics. Michael is a father, a project leader, and he manages a team. There's no need to explain that those 3 categories make up a very big body of work. They take a lot of time and energy. So if you're not in your fittest and healthiest state, those things are just harder. The next part is a clear action plan. We called it Operation Shave the Beard. The reason we've called it Operation Shave Beard is because, like a few other people that I've spoken to in the past, Michael's grown a beard to almost help him create something like a mask or a facade to sort of sit behind. His confidence and presence and the way he carries himself, they're not exactly where he would like them to be because he doesn't feel and look and operate how he wants. We're going to drop 15 kg, be lean, healthy, and strong. Now, the win is we are down a kilo, okay, after the first couple of weeks, which is a planned approximate 500 grams a week loss, which if you're on a weight loss journey is absolutely achievable if you have a clear set of systems and structure to follow. The lesson, we had some bumps in the road. We plan in for bumps in the road, right? Nothing's perfect. We're not perfect. We're human. We're going to make mistakes. We're going to step outside the lines, but the habit stacking example that I'll show you will be very beneficial for you, which we'll get to in a second. The next part's in relation to his board. There was habits in his lifestyle, day to day, week to week, month to month, that they negatively affect him, right? So what did we do as a result? So we've got his brother involved in relation to keeping him accountable from a day-to-day sort of thing. He's hired me to help with accountability and implementation to make sure that he does successfully drop his 15 kilos of body fat off his body and becomes lean, healthy, and strong. The next part is his consumables. So like we said before, his food, drinks, and supplements. Some of you will resonate with this. Food delivery apps were just the go-to for lunches and dinners. There's no clear plan, right? And what that leads to is just consistent weight gain. So just to get started, the simple habits were starting with a simple food plan made up of either things that grow on trees, things that grow in the ground, or products from an animal like dairy, meat, fish, and eggs. Really simple, right? A few categories. If you don't step outside that, as you get running with your fitness and nutrition, if you stick to those categories, it's going to be very hard for you to overeat. When we look at drive, we think about stress to recovery ratios. Alcohol had a very big bearing on his go-to habit for managing stress. Now, that's not a very positive habit at all, and it would have significantly contributed to the weight gain that's happened over the last couple of years. So a really simple thing we implement is a drinks scorecard. So it's literally a number that you're happy with to consume on a month-to-month basis. You can divide that up over the 4 weeks, or you can smash it all in one night. It's a challenge from going from, well, this is what I used to drink, this is all I'm willing to accept to drink, and that's all I have for the whole month. And so that's already a lot less than what he used to drink. The last one's exercise. So training plan, absolutely non-existent, no gym membership, no real structure around even going for a walk or improving fitness in any way. So the first thing to do is do some gym recon and make a decision on where we're going to train. I'll use this blue pen to give you an example of, we've got a few key habits, right? So we've got 4 key habits that we're trying to get started on and implement over the first few weeks to a month. Now, where was the lesson is the question. I'm going to draw you a habit stacking ladder. So we're going to use these relevant examples to break down the 4 things that we need to do. So we've got number 1 was brother and John accountability. Now, if you've gone from 0 accountability, you've got no touch points of text calls, Zoom calls, sheets, spreadsheets, or anything like that help you stay accountable to doing things day to day, week to week, month to month, that's already a big layer because you're suddenly having to be very honest with not just yourself, but others about the journey that you're on and the things you're doing every day. That's already a real big piece of the puzzle for some people to implement. Number 2 is food. We're going from pressing a few buttons on an app and having food knock at the door to having to write a list, go to the shops, buy it, store it properly, cook it, and then eat it, and then clean it up. There's a lot more layers in there, right? So we always try and start very small. Number 3 was drinks. They went down. That's, again, another big change. And then number 4 was gym, recon, and membership. So if we look at these 4 things and we were to try and execute 1 per week over a month, we've got a few new habits that have been built out, which is awesome, right? Because you want to hit the ground running when you're getting going with your fitness and your health. But you want to do it in a very strategic way so that you don't create overwhelm, which is the lesson here. Habit stacking. Righto, habit stacking, fun time. Think about this. This here is a ladder. It's got no runners on it, so you can't climb to the top, okay? And I want you to imagine this like you were climbing up it, okay? You got two bars, just like you see in front of you. You can't actually climb the ladder. All right, we're going to build the ladder and build the steps onto it so you can see, and I'll make it all relevant. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call that, this is month number 1, and we'll call this one up here month 2, which we're not in yet, right? So if you imagine you're trying to build the steps on the ladder, you're trying to build the next layer or good foundations, right? So if you've got habit 1, habit 2, habit 3, and habit 4, you're trying to build these steps so that you've got this great foundation and you've gone from nothing to lots of things. The reason habit stacking works so well is because as you build in the reps, I'm not talking about reps in the gym, I'm talking about day to day, week to week, month to month, you're building new habits. It takes you time. Now there's this whole thing around, it takes 21 days to build a habit. Believe what you will, I've seen people create habits in a day. I really think habits can take one decision, and it's making the decision to implement change and having a clear plan of attack to get that thing done. How do we go from red to green with a habit? You just do it over and over and over. So the idea around habit stacking is that if you've got these habits, eventually when you stick to them, they turn green. The reason I wanted to visually represent red to green is that if they're not, let's say that they're still red. When life happens, when being a dad, being a team leader, being a project manager, all happen at once, and you are trying to implement all these new things, when something smacks you in the face, boom, 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 all of your new habits go back to ground zero because you haven't built in enough time doing each one. And so the lesson was, if you try and add too many new things all at once without building almost like resilience in it and really solidifying all of the habits, when life happens, they go bang, 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 and they all disappear. So what we just need to do is go habit 1, 2, 3, 4, and we work on it until bang, until they're done. And so the big idea here is that as you add new ones and you continue making them stronger and stronger, let's say up here, you have adversity happens, which it always does to all of us. And you've got reps on the board. The most recently implemented habits are the first to go, but the ones that are built on good foundations, they stay. So they carry you through, so it's like when they're new, they take a lot of mental energy or mental real estate, so to speak. They take effort, they take energy, they take all this attention to implement. When they're not, it's in that space of unconscious competence. You just do it as part of your daily, weekly, monthly routine. It doesn't take a lot of effort to continue doing that habit because it's built, it's done, like it's just part of life now. It's almost normal. And so that lesson is just something that I really thought was valuable to show you because now that that's almost been experienced by Michael, he's like, oh, great, that makes sense. I'll do this, this, and this. And he's got a new point of focus. So I really hope that's added value and made sense to you. So there you go. That's habit stacking. That's a lesson that Michael's learned and then we've implemented. We've pivoted. We're on track. We'll continue racing towards the goal. If you liked what you saw in this video and you think, man, I'd really love to have more of a chat, go through the blueprint with John and see if it makes sense to get a little bit more help around this. In the show notes below is a link to a page. On that page, if you put your name, number, email in there, I'll give you a call, we'll have a quick chat. Worst case scenario, I can point you in the right direction. If it makes sense to get a little bit more information, we can jump on what I call a roadmap call. It's you going through the fitness and business blueprint with me for an hour to understand exactly what you would need to do as next steps to get you on the right track. It's a no strings attached Zoom call. If at the end of the call you go, hey, I've got enough information to go out and get what I need to get done, go do it. That's awesome. There's no strings attached. If you decide, like Michael did, that, wow, that's really valuable and I want your help, John, with implementation and accountability, I'll run you through what it looks like to work with me. Have a great day. See you guys in the next episode.